started. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Spotlight on Photos and Videos. My name is Ryan Clancy, and I am the Client Success Manager here at EduNet, and I am excited to have you joining us here today for our presentation. Photos and videos can serve an important part of any website, but especially on a school website. Photos and videos on a website, they allow you to share favorite memories from things such as band concerts, the first day of school, graduation, and they can also be a great way too to be able to go in and to be able to celebrate student and staff accomplishments. And that, everybody, is exactly what we're going in and what we're going to be taking a look at here today. Before we get started, we do have a little bit of a game plan for our training. What we're going to start with is by going in and taking a look at the photo album. One of the great things about your site is that you do have unlimited storage for both photos and for videos on your website. So you don't have to worry about having too many photos and videos, which is always a great thing. Then after photo albums is we're going to go in and take a look and see how to how to go in and add to the spotlight feature. So that there is a great feature as well. It's kind of like a specialized version of news and announcements that is specifically created to share student and staff accomplishments. So we'll see how to add to that. Then after that, we'll see how to add to the video gallery. We'll see how to go in and then add photos as well with the page editor. Now, just remember, everyone, that questions are encouraged. So if you have questions, please, please, please feel free to ask. Remember to ask questions. What you want to do is you want to open up the chat window. That is accessed by going in and clicking on the little bubble icon on your GoToTraining toolbar. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and let's get started. Now, with the photo album, it is often going to be something that will be located on your home page, and Green Tech High School's photo album is no exception to that. If we scroll down over here, currently there is an album for field trips. We can go in and click on this. And what that does is it brings us to the main page for the album. One of the great things about this feature is that parents and students, they can click on an image, and that allows them to be able to scroll through all of those different photos, which is great. Now, along with that as well, that is one thing that makes this easy, not only for us as admins to work with, we'll talk about that in just a moment, but also for students, families, to go back and look at some wonderful memories that were made at our schools. You know, graduation, there's so many different memories that can be made. So that's something that's really, really cool about this. Now, what's also great about it and makes it easier for them is, particularly with photo albums, it is set up in such a way that it's something that is looks very familiar to them. And that is exactly what we're seeing here. How we have all of those albums, they're kind of displayed in that gallery style fashion. So that right there, everybody, is something that will make it easy for them. Now, what about making it easier for us as website admins? Well, one of the ways that it does this is actually how you go in and you add an album. Now, a lot of the site, when you add to it, so we think of news or calendars, even the video gallery, when we add to those, we're filling out an online form essentially. In this case over here, it's a little bit different. So instead of going in and filling out an online form, what happens with photo albums, it actually walks us through each and every step along the way. All right, everyone, looks like we have a question here. Let's go in and take a look. And this is actually a great question. Courtney asks, I have a question around privacy/consent. So with photos, that is something that is very important. Can these albums be only on the student and parent portal? Excellent question. So there is a way to essentially make this work. What you can do is you can actually request that, now it has to be with a specific section, but you can request that a section of the site that maybe has a photo album, that it is password protected. What you'll want to do first is you'll want to go in and you'll want to have the new section set up. And then after that, you'll want to go in and send in a ticket to our tech support team, and we'd be happy to go ahead and get that taken care of for you. So it's important to note when you are going in and setting up things such as sections and pages and you're looking to get those password protected, you do have to password protect the entire section. So it can't be individual pages. So that is just something important to go in and to keep in mind for that. It's an excellent question, Courtney. Thank you for sending that in. And please feel free, everyone, to continue sending in any questions that you have. So let's say that we want to post a photo album for graduation. Step number one, we go to the menu button. Then from here, we go to Photos and Multimedia, and we simply go in and we select Photo Album. What I'll do next here is I'll go in, I click Create Album, and we start to really see how this is going to walk us through each and every step along the way. Now, one thing I want to mention with photo albums, the steps that I'm showing you here. So this is with Green Tech's main album. So this is what is going to likely be your homepage album. The steps are the same when you go in and you add a photo album to a page. So if you're looking to add one to your teacher page, the steps are going to be the same for that. It's just a little bit different in terms of locating where to go for that. So this is something important to know. So in this case, I type in graduation 2022. After this, what I'm going to go in and do is I'm going to go in and click Update Album Info. I click Upload Photos, select Choose Files, and what's great here, everyone, is we can absolutely go in and add multiple photos at once. Here's how we want to go about doing that. If you're using a PC to add on multiple photos, what you're going to want to do is if you're using a PC, you want to hold the Control key. Whereas if you're using a Mac, instead, you want to hold the Command key. So I do that. I find the photos I want to add on. So I see a few here. Perfect. And I think we should add on one more. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Had a hard time finding it there. And then we just go in and we click Open. Once I've gone in and I've added the albums on, to make it so that this is live on the site, all I have to do is go in and click Upload. So the album's going to then load. And once it's finished, what will happen is this will appear on the live site. Now, one thing to remember too, if you want to make a new album, your featured album, there's a button here you're going to want to make sure to click. And what that's going to be is the star button over here. In this case, we'll just go in and leave that be, but that is something that's important to note. So now if we go back over to the album on the live site, the module on the live site, we refresh the screen and we get to see we have successfully added on that brand new album. Something that is important to note about your website, and photo albums is no exception to this. The vast majority of your site, you can always go back in and make changes to. So looking at this here, maybe let's say we want to use a different cover photo. So for that, that's something that is easily changed. Really, the only things on your site that you can't go back in and change are going to be things such as push notifications or the community mailers. And that, of course, is because you're going in and you're sending a message out. But in this case, we select this here. We go back into our photo album. And to change the cover photo, all we simply do is we bring our mouse to the bottom of the photo, and we simply go in and we click Make Cover. And that will go in and change that. So we go back now to the homepage of our album. We can see that we have gone in and changed out the cover photo for that there. So that's something there that's just important to note. This is a great way to be able to go in and to be able to use photos. But what's great too is that it is not the only way to do so either. Let's take a look at our Spotlight feature. As I mentioned earlier, this is cool. It's really like a specialized version of news and announcements that is specifically created to go in and to share student and staff accomplishments. Let's take a closer look. So I scroll down towards the bottom of the screen. I see we have Student of the Month. So one, we're able to post a photo. But also what's great, we are able to mention why this student, why this staff member is being recognized, which is really, really cool. And this is also something, and it holds true for photo albums and video gallery, that this is something that can go in and it can share content from your website over to Facebook and Twitter, which is always awesome as well. So let's say that this is back in April and we're announcing our valedictorian. We wanted to share about that. So we're going to go back in time a little bit and add that on, but that's okay. So we'll say that we want to add our valedictorian for 2022. And her name is Emily Smith. So our first step for this, we go to the menu button. Where we're going to go to instead, though, is we're going to actually head over here to where it says school life. So I go in this area, I locate Spotlight, and then from here, what I'll do is I'll go in, I choose the category I want to add this to. Now, a couple of things about this here. You may have noticed that we can absolutely add entries for future months. Something that is important to note, though, is that if you are going to do it, it's just important to keep in mind that those entries will not be live on the site until the very first of that month. It's just something important to keep in mind with that. So in this case, we're going to add Emily's entry to June. And I start this off just by going in and clicking Add Entry. And we really get to kind of see here how this does look like a mini version of news and announcements. Just like news, we're really just going in and we're filling out a form. I'll start a course, though, by adding a photo on instead. So to do this, I click Choose File. I find Emily's photo. I see it right here. I go in, I click Open. And while that's loading, let's go in and add her name in. Now we can add a description in, so we can definitely go in and type this in. However, I've already written this out. So just like we would on news and calendars, before we paste into this text editor, it's kind of like a mini version of that text editor. I'll just want to make sure that I go in and I first switch this over to plain text. And the reason I want to do this is it's going to make sure that this will load as we intend it to for parents and students. But afterwards, we do have some formatting options that we can go in and we're going to be able to go in and use for this. So as we see, updating Spotlight is really just a matter of adding a photo and filling out a form. Now we have one more step here that's really, really cool. So this site here has been already linked with Facebook and Twitter. So we've linked the CMS of the website to that. This is going to allow us to be able to go in and to post content from modules like Spotlight, News, and Calendars over to our social. And all we need to do to make that happen is we just go in, we check these boxes here. So we're going to post this to Twitter. And it's not all the content's being posted there, it's just specific content. So with every module that makes use of our social media integration feature, it's going to be the same thing. It won't be all the content, but it will be different parts of it that will go in and post over to our social. So for this case, for Spotlight, what we're doing is we're posting the title. We're going in and posting a link back to the actual post. And what's great about that is really going to be a fantastic way to be able to drive traffic back to the website as well. And that's always going to be a great thing to be able to do. So to go in and now post this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click Save. Now we go back to our home page, refresh the screen, and we can see we've successfully added Emily's post on. And if we go in, we click on her photo, we're going to be able to view why she's being recognized as well. So it's definitely a feature that's a lot of fun to have with, and it is also really great for when you're announcing Teacher of the Year. It's one of the places that you can go in and post about your teacher or staff member of the year as well for that. So I definitely encourage you with this to go in, have a lot of fun. So far we've had a chance to see how to work with photos, but what about videos? So just like photos, with videos, you have unlimited storage. So you do not have to worry about having too many photos or too many videos on your website. Now in Green Tech, we do have the video gallery as one of the homepage modules. So with this here, if we wanted to go in and see what other videos is on the site, we just go in and we click on this here and we'll be able to go in and to be able to view that. Now with this here, it's different from the Photo Wow module. We're not being walked through every step. Instead, we're going to see that when we're adding to this, it really is going to look like we're just going in and we're filling out a form. So let's say that we wanted to go in and we wanted to post a welcome video. My first step for this, I go back to the menu button, and then we head over here to Photos and Multimedia. I go in, I select Video Gallery, and once I do that, what I'll do next is I'll go in and I'll click Upload Video or Audio. So we do see how this is very form-like. It's in a lot of respects, it does look a little bit similar to like news and calendars. There are some differences though. So one thing is our first step, of course, is to add the video itself. Now, this is an example of a feature that along the way is going to provide you with helpful information. And that's something we see right off the bat here. We go in, we click what formats are supported, and what's nice about that is it actually lists all those out as well. So that's something that is going to be very helpful. Now, looking at this here, pretty much standard formats are all going to work with this. MP4, M4V, MOV, things of that nature there. Let's go in and let's add a video on, everyone. So I'm going to add on our welcome video. My first step to do this here is I go to Choose File, and I find the video I want to add, and I click Open. Now, while that's loading, let's fill this out. We'll type in welcome to, perfect. Something like that works wonderfully for this. And the description will say, meet Principal Clancy and learn about our upcoming school year. Perfect. So the file's being converted, but we're pretty much all set to go here. But there's something else here that can make it easier for us when we are going in and we are adding videos like this. One of the neat things about the Photo Album module is that it will allow you to post content, to post videos across your website, specifically to sections. So what exactly does that mean? Well, it means, for one, that if you are going to have a video appear in multiple sections, so this is a welcome video from the principal, there would be an excellent chance that we would want to go in and post this also to the principal's message page. And we do this here by going in and checking this box. Now, it is important to note what this exactly means. So it doesn't post it on the same page, for example, where you'd have an introduction to that department or page or section. It is on its own page within that area there. So it will appear on that menu that will appear on the left-hand side. Nonetheless, though, this is going to be a great way to save time, especially when you're uploading videos. You know, this makes it so you don't have to go in and upload this multiple times. All we need to do here is we go in, click Save. Now, if I go in and I refresh our screen, we're going to see that we've successfully added our video on, and we'll see that here also under the video highlights. So depending on the site, this will vary. So this will actually vary just depending on your website. Some sites will go in and make it so that the newest video is automatically going to be your feature video. Other sites won't do that. So it just depends. It'll just depend on your settings for that. If I go in, I go to the menu button, go to Photos and Multimedia and Video Gallery. That is all controlled here. So we have all these stars here. Now, what I can do, though, let's say I want to instead have this as the feature video. All I need to do is I just click, drag and drop that just like that there. So what that means now, we go back and we see that we have the football team video as the featured video on the home page. Now, what about where this posted to? Well, we can see what this will look like if we go over to About Us, Principal's Message. How this is going to appear essentially is going to be a page within the section. So it will be on its own page. But if you add additional videos here, they would all appear together in this particular page here. So we do get to see that we did go in and we were able to share this video. We not only posted it to the main video gallery, but we also posted it to an additional section on the website too. And remember, this is going to be a great time saver, especially when we go in and we're thinking of adding videos as well for that. So definitely something that is pretty cool. All right, everyone. So we've so far had a chance to see how to work with photos on the Spotlight feature, on the photo album. We've seen also how to go in and add a video too. But what about going in and using photos on our new page editor? The page editor offers you a lot of great options to be able to work with photos. These include new types of content blocks, also as well some tools you can go in and use to make it so that your photos are more accessible. And that, of course, being is adding on alternative text. Let's take a closer look. Let's say here that we wanted to go in and we wanted to add some photos over to our sciences department page. So one thing we're going to notice with our page editor, of course, and this one in particular, this page is divided into two different content blocks. And one of those actually features both text and a photo. That is a great option for going in and introducing staff. But we can also go in and add on more photos as well. Let's say that we want to add one on just above the course schedule. To do this, what we would want to go in and do is we need to add on another content block. So I can do this by going in, I right click, I then select either insert above or insert below. So let's go with insert above. We can choose from any of these options. So we see the two options that also have text, but the option I'm going to go with in this case is going to be photo in the center. What that does is that goes in and it drops the content block right on the page there. And now it's ready for us to go in and to add our own photos to it too. So let's go in and do that. And you do happen to have a really cool way. This is one of the ways that you can go in and you can add photos with the editor. What I do is I go over to where this is stored. Just a moment, everybody. And what I do from here is I find the photo I want to go in and use. So let's kind of find a really cool science photo. I love this one right here. And what we do is we go in, we click, drag, and drop just like that. Now, once we go in and do this, we do have some options in terms of going in and resizing the photo. So that's absolutely something here that I want to do with this. The photo was a little bit on the smaller side before we did that, but this is really something cool. We can resize it to how we find it will fit to a degree. Now with that, we're going to look at this and we may notice that the spacing between this content block and this one here really isn't the best, but that's okay. We can go in and absolutely fix this. We do this by going in, we bring our mouse towards the top of the lower content block. And once I do that, I can bring the lower content block, so it will always be the lower content block. And we can actually bring this down by up to 20 pixels, which is great. Now, let's say that we're looking at this and we decide, you know what? It would really be better if we had the photo underneath our table, the table with all the classes. Here's the cool thing. We don't need to delete anything. All we'll do from here is we'll go in, we right click, we select move down, and that reorders the page for us without having to go in and to delete anything whatsoever, which is great. So this here is one way that we can add photos. Let's add another one. Let's say that we want to add an introduction to our director. So in this case, definitely going to go in and use another content block. We have content blocks with photos and text that really are going to go in, and they're going to really work well for this. To go in and to do this here, to add on that new content block, it's the same steps we followed previously, but what we do is we go in, we right click, select insert above or below. So let's go with select let's select insert above. So we'll have it just above the photo of the Milky Way. And then we find the content block we want to use for the director of the science department. In this case, we're going to go with this. Now, I start this off by going in and adding on his photo. So to be just a moment, I see it here. And what we'll do from here is we'll go in, we click, drag, and drop. Once we do that, we can go in and resize the photo and adjust it just a little bit here. One of the things that we'll see right away is that we want to absolutely go in and make some changes to the spacing here. So to make that happen, just remember, all you'll do is you'll take your mouse, you'll bring it to the top of the lower content block, and from there, you can bring it down by up to 20 pixels. So just something there that's important to keep in mind. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to find our director's introduction, Mr. Evans' introduction. So it'll be just a moment while I pull that up. There it is. And what I'll do from here is I'll find this. We'll go in and paste this in here. Now remember, when you're pasting this in, you'll notice that if you right click, there isn't an option. Actually, right now there is. Sometimes you'll find there's not going to be an option to copy or paste, but in this case there is. So we do that. We can see that we've added on Mr. Evans' introduction there. Now, as you're continuing going in and adding on photos, there's going to be another tool here that can be really, really beneficial for you and your team. What that's going to be, and you'll notice it here, you'll notice that we have this emoji button. This is important because what this does is it actually looks over a lot of the page for us, provides us with recommendations. So we go in and we click on this, and what's being suggested to us is that we enter alt text to improve accessibility. The question is, why does alt text improve the accessibility for images? Well, it has to do a lot with how screen reading programs are going to work. If we do not add alt text or mark one of these images here, or mark an image as decorative, what a screen reading program will actually do is go in and actually read over the file name there. And depending on what the file name is, we'll notice that it won't match. We see that here, for example, for the photo of the Milky Way, it doesn't match what the photo's about. So let's fix this for both of these here. So, the photo for the Milky Way, it's a great photo, but it's not really part of the main content of the site. So in cases like that, instead of adding alt text, what we may want to do is just instead mark it as decorative. And that's something that we can definitely do in this case. What we do is we go in, we right click, I select accessibility, and in this case here, we mark this as decorative. All right, everyone, looks like we have a great question coming in. Hi, Courtney. That's a great question. Courtney asks, will Edgenet ever have a feature where we could left or right align all images? Or is there a way to left or right align images that are just the center image block? And that's a great question. As of right now, I can't say for sure about that. One thing that you can do to help with that is using those other content blocks. So we see that here, how we have like the content blocks with the photo on the right or left. One thing that is really great about educational networks is we highly value our clients' feedback for that. So anytime we have someone make a suggestion to to us about that, that's something that, when we are looking to go in and make updates in the future, that's going to be something that, as we're making those updates, definitely something, we would consider at that point. I'm not able to say for sure, but I gotta say it's a great suggestion for that. I appreciate you sharing that there. Now with the Milky Way image, it's a little bit different. Now, one reason it's like that there is the menu here can actually extend all the way to the left. Um, in terms of aligning it further to like the right and everything like that, it wouldn't be something to be able to do. One thing that you can do, we do suggest keeping the photos in the content blocks. But one thing that you can do is you can add photos on like this as well. So we'll add this on here. And then the photo would appear underneath that. So that's just something important to keep in mind for that there as well. But it is a excellent question, Courtney, and I appreciate you sharing that with us today. All right, everyone. So we've gone in and we've seen how to go in and add on alternative text or to mark a photo as decorative. Let's see how we can add on alternative text. Now, this is a photo of the sciences department director. So this is a case that we would absolutely want to make sure we add on that alt text. Steps are very similar. What we want to do is we right click, select accessibility, and then we just go in and we enter this in. So we'll type in sciences director David Evans. We click apply. Now, with this here, as soon as we've gone in and we've done that, we can go in, click on this, and we're going to see for the alt text and for the Milky Way photo that we've gone in and cleared those recommendations. We've gone in and we've essentially fixed those there. But definitely the recommendation photo is the recommendation button, the little emoji, can be really a fantastic tool to go in and to be able to use for that there. All right, everyone, please feel free to continue sending in any questions. I do want to go ahead and share about some of the great resources that we have here at Educational Networks. Be just a moment to help you with your site. So I'm actually going to go in and share this. This is our Expo page, everyone. And we have a lot of great guides here, new videos that we have just launched. So I definitely recommend checking this out. And what I'll do for this is I'm going to go in and I'm going to copy this and paste this in the chat field. So that's something there that is really, really cool for that. I do want to mention as well that we have an awesome tech support team here at Educational Networks. And I want to make sure to show you how you can reach out to them as well in case you have any questions. To reach out to tech support, one of the ways you can do this is by going over here to the menu button, heading over to the help desk, and then from here, going in and selecting create a ticket. This is a great place to go for help. With the ticket, we always suggest being as specific as possible. That's going to be something that's going to help our team complete your ticket more quickly for that. And as Courtney mentioned, just that they are a great team to go in and to work with. If you do have requests for changes for the site, this is something that I always go in and I suggest. That I always use as an example, I should say. And what that is if you'd like to, for example, embed a document, definitely something we can do. I always suggest in cases like that, going in and adding on the link to the page you'd like us to go in and to embed that onto. All right, everyone. So this here wraps up our presentation for today, but also it concludes our 2022 Back to School Expo. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of that and for joining us for this special event. We've had a lot of fun putting this on. And as I always like to say, keep inspiring those future generations, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Courtney. Aloha, Daryl. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that.